Hey everybody, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and today we've got a look at another of Michael Brauer's techniques. This one has to do with piano processing, and it's got a few unique features about it. And this also serves as a good reminder of these tips are a good starting place, but when they have tools, especially EQ, you can tweak them to suit your source, because there's a few little things I might change compared to Michael Brauer's stock setup here. I'm going to show you how he sets it up, and then I'm going to show you what tweaks I would make depending on the source I have here. So the first thing I'm going to do is bypass the plugins all completely. They're all off right now, and just play that raw piano part by itself. And it's important to note that Michael Brauer's processing setup here is for stereo piano recordings. Basically a 2-mic recording where the left channel is picking up more like the left-hand notes and the right channel is picking up more of the right-hand notes, more to the treble end. This can work with other recordings too, but it works best with that type of setup. So here's the piano part by itself. So a solid piano part already right off the bat. But the way this is set up is pretty unique, because what we've got to do is split this into a multi-mono recording. Now, depending on what DAW you're in, there's different ways of doing that. In Pro Tools, there's a little connector up here where you can like make each plugin multi-mono and process the left and right channels separately. In Studio One, which I'm in right here, I just use the splitter tool, and that splitter tool goes first and splits the processing into left and right channels. You can choose different split modes. Normal split is just 2 parallel channels. Channel split or frequency split, this is channel split. So left side, right side. And on each side, you insert an LA3A. In this case, I'm using the UAD version. You could use Waves or whatever. And the BX Console Focusrite SC channel strip, which is a very clean EQ section based upon those Focusrite consoles. Do that on the left and the right channel. The compression is set up the same way on both channels, but the EQ is a little bit different. So if you look at the compression, we've got our gain right at the middle at 5, and our peak reduction down a little bit right below 4. LA3A, really simple compressor to use. Remember, this is compressing the left side, this is compressing the right side. We don't want a ton of compression here, just a couple dB here and there. Of course, you can adjust the gain structure here, a little bit more peak reduction if you're not getting anything out of it, or if your source is really soft. Then if you look at the 2 channel strips down here, the compressor and gate, all the dynamics are out. The only thing we have in are the EQ sections. On the left-hand side, we're not doing any filtering here. They're just on their default 20K and 20 Hertz settings. We've got our high mids and low mids boosting a little bit. This is 6.2 dB with a Q of 1.2 at 1.5K. The low mids is 3.7 dB. Let me get it back on there. 1.2 Q again at 103 Hertz or so, somewhere around 110. We've got our high shelf in at 3.3K, boosting 3.7 dB. And we've got our low shelf in 3.9 dB at 95 Hertz. That's all we're using in this channel strip on the left. On the right-hand side, again, all the dynamics are out. We've got our high-pass filter in at about 75 or so Hertz. We can boost that up a little bit if we don't want as much low end. Remember, this is the right-hand side of the piano. Got our high mids boosted 6.7 dB with a wide Q of 0.9 at 1.6K. Our low mids are around 3 dB, 1.2 as our Q at 205 Hertz or so. The high frequency is 5 dB at 4.7K. And we're cutting a little bit of low shelf, negative 1.9 or so dB at 95 Hertz. Here's what it sounds like, again, pre-processing and with processing. You can see the gain reduction being a little bit different with the left and right channels on the LA3A. So the processing here to me just needs a little bit less of the low mids in it. So I'm going to back off a little bit there. Maybe a little bit more high shelf on the right-hand side. Just a slight little tweak to that stock setting you get. So the way you would set this up is just build a template, have this in there with Michael Brauer's settings that I showed you first, and then just tweak it a little bit depending on what your source needs or what it sounds like to you. Now I'm going to bypass it on and off as it plays, starting with it off first. So pretty subtle difference, but a lot of times a lot of little subtle moves like this make a mix work. So there it is, Michael Brauer's split channel, left and right channel piano processing using the LA3A and the Focusrite channel strip. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so we can keep you in the loop as to what's coming up next, and I'll see you in the next one.